It's battle time, Miami Dolphins fans. As training camp is just about to get underway in the 305, I wanted to take a look at my top 5 position battles going into Miami Dolphins training camp because it does start technically tomorrow, July 16th. That's when rookies report to camp, and then the veterans report on July 23rd. Before we get into my top 5 position battles going into training camp, make sure you are subscribed to the channel, though, because we are going to be the #1 home for Miami Dolphins news and rumors. And as the season is about to get underway, there's no better place to be than Dolphins Today. Weekly live shows, watch parties for preseason, regular season games, and like I said, daily news and rumors on your Dolphins. So hit that sub button. All right, the #1 position and battle to watch is there's really no debate about what's #1 here. It's the starting right guard spot. And I think you guys could have expected this to be my #1 position battle because it's the #1 question for Miami. When Chris Grier let some people leave this roster in free agency and then made some additions via the trade route, via the free agency themselves and the NFL draft, everyone can take a look, point at every single position group depth chart and say, there is a sheep here, and it's Robert Jones in this right guard spot because there just simply isn't a starter set in stone for this group. And I've said this in the past, I'm bullish on the offensive line and their upside. Like, I don't think it's a good group. It's probably the worst group on the team, but I like Jackson, I like Armstead, I like Brewer, and if Isaiah Wynn can stay healthy, I think he's a pretty solid option at left guard. But the right guard spot, there's no hiding it. It's not good. And when you think about the players that will be competing to earn that starting spot for Week 1 against the Jacksonville Jaguars, I think these are the 4 that you are going to have to keep your eye out for, and it's probably going to be the #1 talking point in the training camp and preseason games. Robert Jones, Jack Driscoll, Liam Eichenberg, and Lester Cotton are the 4 that are likely going to be battling it out. It's interesting for Eichenberg because he is the backup center to Aaron Brewer, and I think it's unlikely he gets enough reps to earn the starting right guard spot, even though he wants to, because let's just say Aaron Brewer goes down. Well, if Eichenberg is your starting right guard, that means he would have to shift the center and a right guard gets thrusted in. But what if Eichenberg got hurt at right guard and then Aaron Brewer gets hurt and then now you don't have a right guard or a center? So I kind of think it's unlikely that Liam Eichenberg is going to be your starting right guard, but he probably will get a chance to earn that role. I have my prediction on who actually is going to win this battle in just a second, but let me know. Wanting to see your predictions first. Who do you think starts at right guard for the Dolphins offense in Week 1 against the Jags? Drop a name down below. I'm going with Jack Driscoll, and even though we showed you the depth chart and I have Robert Jones slated in there as a starting right guard, I think he's going to have the lead going into training camp. But I think Driscoll can easily take that spot from him. And you might be wondering as you look on screen right now, when you see Driscoll's face and the numbers of PFF next to him, why it says 2021. Well, I have an answer for you. Driscoll has been a career backup in Philly over the past 4 seasons. But want to know when he had the best PFF numbers throughout his 4-year career? It came in 2021 when the majority of his snaps came at right guard. He got 483 snaps that year in relief, filling in at times. And I think those PFF numbers are pretty solid, right? 70.5 overall, 74 pass block, 64.1 run block. Like, those are serviceable enough numbers at right guard. And if Driscoll gets another chance to earn that right guard role in Miami, maybe he can showcase that he shouldn't have been a backup in Philly because he can actually play the guard spot pretty well. Moving on here to the second battle to watch, and it's going to be that final wide receiver roster spot. I think this is the second one we have to keep our eye out for. And when you think of the Dolphins wide receiver room, I think it's the best on the team. It's the most loaded position group, if you ask me, because you have the best wide receiver in football in Tyreek Hill. You have another top 15 wide receiver in Jalen Waddle. You added Odell Beckham Jr. in free agency. You have a 6th-round pick, Malik Washington, that I'm very bullish on. And then you have Braxton Berrios, who provides you some nice special teams coverage, as well as being a potential slot receiver if you don't feel Malik Washington is ready. But I just named 5 guys that I am excited to watch this season as they lead this Dolphins depth chart at the wide receiver room. And Miami is likely going to carry 6 wide receivers. So who are the three that are likely going to be fighting for their life to earn that last wide receiver spot? I think it's Erik Ezukanma, River Cracraft, and 7th-round rookie out of USC, Tahj Washington. It's going to be an absolute battle to see who earns that last spot. I know a lot of fans are intrigued by Eze, Erik Ezukanma, because of his ability to make plays after the catch and his big body frame of 6'1", 6'2". Cracraft, another taller wide receiver at 6 feet tall. And then you got Tahj Washington, who Miami took a flyer on in the 7th round. He had over 1,000 yards with Caleb Williams last season for the USC Trojans. He's someone that could have long-term upside. And to me, if I had to give a prediction here, I would probably go between Ezukanma and Cracraft because Miami is likely going to be thinking, well, maybe we can keep Tahj Washington on our practice squad and nobody picks him up. But if Washington balls out in preseason and training camp and other teams see that and get word of that, well, maybe he won't make it to the practice squad. He'll be claimed and go to a different team's 53-man. So it's going to be tough decisions for Mike McDaniel and Chris Grier on the last 2 spots for that wide receiver depth chart. Probably just one, but hey, maybe Berrios or Malik Washington gets priced out. Moving on here to number 3. I think it's the final inside linebacker position because this group is just very, very solid at the top, and they probably will only keep 4. When you think of what this team has, I think you have 3 locks. David Long Jr., who is entering his 2nd season on the Miami Dolphins team. Jordan Brooks, who signed after Jerome Baker left in free agency. But you also signed Anthony Walker Jr. from the Cleveland Browns, which leaves 2 guys on the bubble, Duke Riley and Channing Tindall, because I think these 3 are locks right here. Walker is just one of the best pass coverage linebackers in the game. Brooks is a former first-round pick who provides some thumping ability in the run game. And then David Long Jr. is your number 1 guy, and there's no chance he gets cut. So it really is down to those 2 in the bottom, Duke Riley and Channing Tindall for the last spot. Riley's been the more productive player over his career. He had 42 tackles last year in that Dolphins defense. But Channing Tindall is someone that maybe fights to finally get a role. Like, this is his 3rd year in the NFL after being a 3rd-round pick out of Georgia in the 2021 NFL draft. And if Tindall, 22 draft, by the way, and if Tindall isn't finally able to put together a good training camp in preseason, maybe the Dolphins finally cut bait after drafting him in the top 105, top 110. I'd like to see him get a chance because he has good traits, but he's just never been able to find a role in this Dolphins defense. To me, the Dolphins will keep 4 inside linebackers. You go with the top 3. Who's going to be the 4th? That's the question. Tindall or Duke Riley. I've kind of given a prediction on the first 2. I'm going to be honest, I don't really have a prediction for one of these 2, which is why I'm asking you. Who makes the 53-man roster? Who is at least more likely to make that final group in late August? Type CT for Channing Tindall or type DR for Duke Riley. 4th on the list is an interior defensive line spot. This one is pretty tricky because I really have absolutely no clue where the Dolphins could go, and this might be the true biggest battle, Royal Rumble style, if you will, because when you think of what the Dolphins have, obviously Zach Sealer and Calais Campbell headline this group, and good thing the Dolphins side Campbell because the rest of this group just wasn't so good. And you look at the guys' names on here: Tahj, Jonathan Harris, Neville Gallimore, Deshaun Hand, Benito Jones, Brandon Pilley, Isaiah Mack. It's a tricky situation here, folks, because outside of Zach Sealer and Calais Campbell, there is not one spot on this defensive line that is safe. If you were to tell me that Tahj got cut, wouldn't be shocked. You would have told me that Neville Gallimore got cut. Wouldn't be shocked. It truly is going to be a battle, and there is going to be no time off. That's going to be, I think, one of the things that we have to keep our eye on the most for during the 3 preseason games that we watch for the Miami Dolphins. How do the interior defensive linemen perform against the run and generating pressure? Because one big game could lead you to be making a roster spot because it's going to be an absolute battle. One last position battle that we have to talk about, but I want to make sure you're hooked up with this Dolphins t-shirt combo. $25 off. Yes, you're hearing that correctly at chatsports.com/Dolphins combo. Hurry up, though, because we're running out of sizes. Smalls are gone. 3XLs are gone. All that is left is medium, large, extra large, and 2X. So if you want to grab this Dolphins t-shirt combo at $25 off, likely your last opportunity, Link will be in the description and comments. One more time, chatsports.com/DolphinsCombo. Last position battle that I want to keep my eye on for is the tight end depth. We know who the tight end one's going to be. It's going to be Jonnu Smith after you got him in free agency after he was cut by the Atlanta Falcons. I'm very bullish on Jonnu Smith. I think he's going to have a really excellent season, might have the best season for a tight end since Mike McDaniel took over this Dolphins team. I'm also a big fan of Jody Fortson Jr., who you signed to a one-year deal in free agency after he was let go by the Kansas City Chiefs. And he had such a good OTAs period. He had such a good mini camp that I think he's going to continue that momentum into training camp, put together a good preseason, and I believe he is going to make the 53-man roster. He just has a rare athletic profile in terms of size, speed, and he is going to be a potential red zone threat when the Dolphins get inside the 10, 5-yard line and they want to go to 2 tight end sets with him and Jonnu Smith potentially. He could also play at the outside as a fade route against a smaller corner or a safety, which leaves a couple guys here fighting for that third spot or potentially on the outside looking in. Durham Smythe, who was the team's tight end 1 last season and tight end 2 with Mike Gesicki a couple years ago. But then you also have Julian Hill, who was the second tight end on last year's team and was a little bit of a better blocker, and he was a blocking tight end. Like, I don't think it's likely that Miami carries more than 3 tight ends, and I've looked at the past with Mike McDaniel. On Mike McDaniel's final 53-man roster over his first 2 years of his coaching in Miami, he kept 2 tight ends and then 5 tight ends. So it's a little hard to project how many tight ends he will keep with the wide range of outcomes here. But I'd likely go with 3, which means I believe one of Julian Hill or Durham Smythe will be cut, and it's just a question of where Miami wants to go with that third tight end spot. They want to go with a better blocker in Julian Hill, or they want to go with a more receiving threat but can also give you some blocking in Durham Smythe. Tell you what, Alec Ingold, who's obviously a key piece on this team at fullback, he does not make it easy on the tight ends because you could usually keep 3 or 4 tight ends when you don't have a fullback, but when you keep a fullback, one position gets sacrificed, and it likely might be a tight end depth piece. That's going to do it for today's show. Make sure you are following me over on Twitter at Nic_Rohloff. I'm tweeting about the Fins every single day. And as we do start training camp in the next couple weeks, I'll be tweeting about the latest news, rumors, practice highlights. So if you want to stay up to date on the Miami Dolphins, obviously be subscribed, but follow me on Twitter. I'll see you on the video tomorrow. Go Fins.